Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. As you can tell from the title, we are giving this erase paste another try. This time as a color corrector. I had a lot of people in my last video about this product state that it was meant to be a color corrector or that they themselves use it as a color corrector. Now, in my defense, I did read everything, the entire little pamphlet that comes with the actual product that comes inside of the box, and I did read everything online. And I even watched the 1-minute video that they provide as far as how to apply the product. And they never state that it's meant to be used alongside a concealer as a corrector. So, I mean, there is that. I used it the way that it was meant to be used according to the website. So today I'm going to be trying it out as a corrector for you all because some of you did want to see me try it out that way and see how it wears, see how it compares to my Becca one. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to test it out as a corrector, but I'm also going to be wearing my Becca color corrector. So I'm going to do my Becca color corrector on the right side, and I'm going to do the erase paste as a corrector on the left side and just see how it compares to my Becca corrector, which is my all-time favorite of the moment. And I'm going to be using it alongside my Shape Tape from Tarte because this is miracle in a bottle for anyone who has dark circles like me, or at least I think so. Excuse me. Okay, so let's get started in applying these color correctors. Like I said, I'm going to be doing the Becca one on my right and the erase paste as a color corrector on my left. So I'm going to start off with my Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector and apply that as I normally would underneath my eye. Okay, so now I have the Becca one on the right side, and I'm going to be grabbing a tiny bit using the little scoop of the erase paste and then applying that on this side. Okay, so now that both under eye areas are done, I'm going to go ahead, apply some foundation off camera, and then come back in order to conceal. Okay, so now I'm back with foundation on, and it is time for concealer. So I'm just going to apply this the way that I normally would. Nothing different, right? Okay, so I'm going to blend. First, I'm going to blend out the Becca side. Okay, now the erase paste side. And then I'm going to set it. I'm going to set both sides like I normally would. And I just lightly set it. Alright, so now I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at what both under eye areas look like after initial application. Okay, so this is what the under eye area looks like right now after having initially applied it and setting it. I don't really see much of a difference between the two as of right now, so we'll see how it wears. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, finish off the rest of my makeup, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I am back with a full face of makeup, and so far so good. Both sides look pretty similar, if not the same. So we'll see how it wears. It is currently 11:15 in the morning, so I will come back at around 3 o'clock, 3:30 for a midday check-in. Okay, so now I am back for a midday check-in. It is currently 3:19 p.m. So I've had this on for about 4 hours, and although it is wearing okay, it's not wearing perfectly, I must say that. It has already creased along my lines. And the product, I mean, it looks okay. It doesn't look as separated as it did last time, but it doesn't look as flawless as it did after initially applying it. Whereas with the Becca one, I mean, I feel like it still looks pretty much the same as it did when I first applied it. That is why I like it. That is why I like the combination of the Becca corrector and the Tarte Shape Tape. I'll stop rambling. I'll zoom you all in so that you can get a good look at what the product looks like under my eye after roughly 4 hours of wear. Okay, so this is what the product looks like after roughly 4 hours of wear. As you can see, this is what I'm talking about. It's settling into my lines, into all of the lines that I have underneath, and then some I feel on this side, which obviously I'm not a big fan of. However, on this side, I'm not having that issue. I never typically do whenever I do my normal routine. So that's the only complaint that I have on this side. Aside from that, it's wearing a lot better than it did when I first reviewed it. So yeah. Alright, and that's all I have for my midday check-in. I am planning on wearing this for probably about another 4 hours or so just to get a good 8-hour wear out of it. So hopefully it continues to wear pretty nicely. And yeah, I'll see you all at around 7:30. Okay, so now I am back for a final check-in. It is currently 7:31, so I've had this on for a good 8 hours. Before I move on and give you all my thoughts on what I think about it as a color corrector, I'm going to zoom you all in so that you can get a better look at my under eye area after 8 hours of wear. Okay, so this is what the under eye area looks like after 8 hours of wear. As you can see, the Becca side still doesn't have any creasing, which is why I prefer it. This side did crease on me, and aside from the creasing, I do see it separating just a little bit here along the corner. Overall, I think it did wear pretty nicely, so I really have no true complaints aside from the creasing. Okay, so now that you've seen my under eye area up close, I can get into my thoughts. Like I said, it's not a bad color corrector. It did not perform as poorly as I thought that it would based on my initial review. I'm glad that some of you suggested that I use it as a color corrector because it actually did a lot better combined with my Tarte Shape Tape as opposed to just by itself. So I definitely like that. The only thing that I wasn't a big fan of was the creasing. I can't stand when product settles into my lines because I have a lot of lines underneath the eye area, and that's just, no, I don't like that. So that's the only reason why I wouldn't trade in my Becca corrector for this one, is because it did crease underneath the eye area. But aside from that, I mean, it wore well. It didn't separate or anything like that like it did the first time around. Because if there's one thing that I cannot stand is when a product looks like it's been worn for longer than it actually has. You know, when I've only had it under my eye for 4 hours, 3 hours, and it actually looks like I've worn it all day, like, I can't stand that. I can't stand when products separate, but this one, it didn't do as bad as it did the first time. Other than that, I really have no complaints. So I'm glad that you all brought this to my attention, that I could use it as a color corrector. I personally will not be using it as a color corrector. I will stick to my Becca one, but if you are using it as a color corrector and it's working for you, I can see why, because it is a good color corrector. I wish they would promote it as such instead of leading you to believe that you could just wear it by itself and that it's going to do the trick, because it's definitely better paired with a concealer. So those are my thoughts on the product, my second thoughts, second day thoughts after playing with it a little bit. Thank you all so much for suggesting that I try it out like this. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.